Hey guys, it's me Gavin Probaholic, and today I will be reviewing The Sky is Everywhere by Yandy Nelson. So last year I read I'll Give You the Sun by Yandy Nelson and I fell in love with it. It is probably my favorite YA contemporary novel. And even though I don't read many contemporary novels as a whole, I think that Yandy Nelson is just an amazing author, and I really wanted to read this book. So today's video will be spoiler free, and I'll be telling you main stuff about the book, so that if you haven't read it, you should stay tuned and learn more about it and see for yourself if you want to read it or not. So the first impression that you get from the first chapter, or like the first few lines, is that we have this main protagonist. Her name is Lenny, and her sister died 4 weeks ago. Basically, this book is about Lenny dealing with the loss of her sister. And her sister has been basically her whole life for as long as she can remember, because her mom left when she was barely 1 year old, and she has no idea who her father is. So Lenny and her sister Bailey have been raised by their grandma and also their uncle. The two sisters were very close, and now that this tragedy has occurred, it is very traumatic for Lenny, and she doesn't really know how to deal with it. So, another interesting thing is that Lenny is in a band. She plays the clarinet, and at first, I thought that this book will be highly concentrated on music, but it's not exactly the main focus. If you read I Will Give You the Sun, if I have to compare, because there's a lot of art there and here there's a lot of music, I think that in I'll Give You the Sun there is more references and more time spent on explaining art, and I think that the characters are more invested in their art. Here, even though Lenny really loves playing, I think that it is not exactly the main focus of the book. It's more like her character development. So except for playing and like her sister dying, we get to know a bit of her family. We learn that her uncle is this really strange, smart guy. He believes that he can revive things, like bring them back from the dead, and he has 5 marriages or something like that. Her grandma loves painting, but she only paints in the color green. And those are like the small things that just make this book intriguing, and like they seem real, because every person has these small things that just differentiate them from the others. And I really like that in The Sky is Everywhere. So, like in every contemporary novel, there is a guy, and he is this. He comes into town. He's new, and he has lived in France for like 7 years. He plays a lot of instruments and is in the band with Lenny. And at the beginning, I was like, wait, I don't want this to be the next. She meets a guy, they fall in love, but they can't be together because I don't know, for some reason. So they break up, and then in the end, they're together. I'm not saying it has nothing to do with that. If you've read the book, there are some similarities with that. But the most interesting thing is that while Lenny deals with her sister's death, she kind of breaks out of her comfort zone. She meets a lot of people, and she does things that she never thought she would. Some of those things, for me personally, if I tell you right now, you think that she's a horrible sister and that no one should do that. But I am a younger sister, and I honestly don't think that I would do the things that she did. But I think that this book does an amazing job of explaining that every person deals with death and tragedy in their own way. Every person has to somehow get it out of their system, and if Lenny's way is to do the things that she does, I think that that's perfectly fine, and she should not be judged harshly for that. So I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. It definitely isn't my favorite book ever, but I did enjoy it. I I would definitely still pick up Jandy Nelson's books whenever I think the next book comes out in 2017. So definitely read that one. I recommend this book, but I definitely think that I'll Give You the Sun is preferable. If I had to like tell you which book to read first, I definitely think this one. Read this one first, and then read I'll Give You the Sun, and you see like how much Jandy Nelson's writing and characters and like plot twists have changed and evolved. I definitely see this huge development, and you really, really love it. So yeah, in conclusion, I think that this book is very fun and in a very sad way. I loved some of the characters, others I did not quite get to enjoy as much, but I definitely think that Jandy Nelson is an amazing author and that this book deserves to be read and to be loved as any other book. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed reading about Lenny, who is actually named after one of the greatest artists of any generation, John Lennon. Have an amazing week and see you soon!